YouTube, what's up you guys? It's your boy Ryan. I just wanted to talk to you about this physics about speed equation for for the um for the sprint vel for the sprint velocity stuff. Since I just made my own triangle of stuff that I need to learn about these physics, since I just found the right YouTube banner that it said that it said the wonders of physics. So I just choose that banner for my YouTube for my YouTube videos. For the physics for the sprint velocity that that um for the physics that I am learning about things um that so D means distance, D means distance, S stands for speed, T for time. So that it said speed equal distance divided by 15 divided by 2 equals 7.5 mile per hour. So yeah, there's v I think there's more in my notebook, not with my notepad. You guys, just hold on. Okay, guys, I am back. I just got my I just got my my notebook with me. So anyway, so things in this so it my triangle is going to be up on a right corner of D stands for distance, S stands for speed, T for time. That every each stuff that I gotta learn about my my plyometrics, or the other stuff. It's like a speed velocity for the physics for the 100-meter dash, like not until April. Yeah, not until April that my next sport after basketball gets done for the Special Olympic. With the stuff that I've been writing, it's about a lot more physics, so I've been learning new stuff. So anyway, I've been doing my own research about these physics about speed, velocity. Um, so the first things first, you have to stretch a lot. Stretch. Then after that, you have to do the different workouts, but it's same thing. But with the deadlifts, I don't need to do that. But I should be doing. Um, which I have to find um something that I can um that I can lift for the deadlifts. Um, so there is one only actually there is an only one thing that I gotta use to do, which means I have to do to make it shorter strides a lot better. It's like one of those body movements that whenever people is walking around, jogging or something like that, I I have squats, deadlifts, and lunges to use shoulder strides. Um, and this part right here, it said that it said speed equal distance divided by time equal 15 divided by 2 equal 7.5 mile per hour. Stands for mph. So mph stands for mile per hour. So I just did that one. So I'm gonna repeat that real quick. Speed equal distance divided by time equal 15 divided by 2 equal 7.5 mile per hour. Um, for the velocity equal u at uh, velocity 2 equal u u2 at t and speed or something. Speed equal u or something. There's a lot of exercise I gotta. I'm gonna learn this new exercise with this plyometrics. Um, with these new workouts I gotta do. Uh, we have to do the power clean or clean pull with a squat, sled, sprint, deadlifts, rear foot elevated split squat, which I have to do. The single leg 1 million deadlifts, broad jump, single leg hurdle jumps. I'm gonna skip that down to here. We have more workout for the stuff. That it, we have a lateral plyometric jumps, forward running, and high knee drills. We have lateral running, side to side drills, with a dot drills, jump box drills, L drills, plyometric agility drill, and shuttle runs. And the last one I have is it, that it said 180 miles divided by 3 hours divided by 180. Hold on, what's that? So, so 180 miles divided by 3 hours with divided by 880 divided by 3 equals 60 mile per hour. So since I have two of those, which is the speed equal distance divided by time, equal 15 divided by 2 equals 7.5 mile per hour and 60 mile per hour. You just have to write those down. Like I didn't have time because I was getting ready to get back home so I can start my live stream. Um, yeah, but I will write more of them because um, yeah, things is going pretty good over here. Today's beverage from today, I I had a second one of of the of the sugar-free Red Bull I had from today. I know it's bad, and I do understand with that. Um, but yeah. For now, I am drinking zero sugar. Actually, Gatorade Zero of a Glacier Freeze. So I'm drinking that today. For tonight, and I've been drinking water and cranberry juice. And yeah, so for this Thursday, because I have a bag right over in the corner by my by the um, by my bedroom door. That's for the martial arts for this Thursday on the 26th. Um, yeah, this Thursday on the 26th. I have a martial arts and plus program on that day, and on Friday we have a talent show for the art house. Um, so yeah, um, I will write more of these speed velocity for the speed equation that I'm gonna learn. This means I have to do a a yeah what was it? What was it? What was it? Hmm. Ah, God damn it. What was it? and I just lost it because I was trying to say something, but I couldn't help it. So yeah, um, with this speed velocity stuff, um, it it really helps. I'm gonna learn about the speed equation, uh, formula equation, yeah, formula speed equation, which means which means I which means I'm gonna learn about the mathematic for the speed equation mathematic or something like that. So yeah. So which means you guys, I I'm gonna I'm gonna learn about the speed equation for the speed velocity stuff that I gotta work on, which I have to write them down on my notebook throughout my on my YouTube on my tablet, which is on my bed. But I will use that for tomorrow whenever I get everything. So so for the for my for my morning routine that I'm gonna do. So for in the morning, for my routine is I have to get up out of bed at the right time around 7. I get things done um, whenever I get up out of bed for tomorrow. Um, yeah, for tomorrow, I have to get up out of bed, go to the bathroom. Yeah, go to the bathroom. Then after that, I went back to my room, like this room which I am in right now. I have to do some stretch. Yeah, do some stretching. Uh, yeah, stretch, like my arm stretch, like like these ones right here, or like that. So yeah, just have to work on this. You just have to work on this, stretch a lot, then switch it to the next arm. Yeah, since I have to so actually hold on. What I was trying to say. Oh, for tomorrow morning, I get up around 7 o'clock. I go to the bathroom, then after that, get back in this bedroom where I am in right now. Um, I have to stretch and do some meditation. Then after that, since I really need to get rest, I have to go downstairs, eat some breakfast, and after that, I have to um really people saying that to my dad's team. Seriously, you guys, that is a bad idea to talk about my Kansas City Chiefs. I hate that, you guys. I just don't like that when people say that. But anyway, let's get back. Let's get back what I was trying to say for tomorrow morning. Whenever I get up out of bed, um, go to downstairs, eat some breakfast, and I have to brush my teeth. After that gets done, I'm gonna do some. Hold on. I have to stretch first. Yeah, stretch first. I have to do some meditation, breathe exercises. I gotta work on. Um, it's from my Wim Hof method app that I am learning about this cold exposure, which I should do more research after this physics gets done. I should, which I which I might write them down and what it means, what it stands for. So yeah. Anyway, for tomorrow morning, whenever I get things done, whenever I go downstairs to eat some breakfast, uh, go back upstairs and do my thing, which is I have to do some workouts. I have to do my I have to do push-ups, yeah, push-ups, sit-ups. I have to use the resistance tube, yeah, resistance tube. I gotta to do to pump my biceps up, but not too much. I just don't want to strain my muscles like that. Nope, I just don't want to do that. So yeah, um, then after that gets done, more workouts. Yeah, then after my workouts gets done, I'm gonna hop in the cold shower that really helps to to reduce to to reduce inflammation and stress levels. So that's part of the good stuff about cold exposure with this cold showers, uh, ice cold, ice cold, which means cold bath therapy or something. But natha therapy is for the cold bath. Since I just did it 3 times, then I will do it for my fourth time, which means I have to not to get it, not to get in the bathtub to start the bath. Guess I have to start the bath right before I get in. Um, that is only for this weekend. So weekends, I am allowed to take a cold bath. magically super cold bath. Maybe I will, but I gotta work way up to it. So yeah, um, yeah, so yeah, um, what else? Um, yeah, for the weekends and doing every each day, I I have to reach my results for the cold showers for 30 days, which I haven't done it, which means I should do that for every single day to reach my 30 days of cold shower, which I have to stay in the water, stay in the cold water like basically an hour. We just have to get things done first. Um, yeah, you just have to work on to get every each each area on my body, which I'm not gonna say out loud, which I just can't say that out loud on my live stream right now. Um, yeah. But anyway, let's get back to the physics stuff. The wonders of physics. So, with this physics, that so many people, like with the body movements, it really helps when people doing some those plyometrics workouts, yeah, workouts for the plyometrics that we have to learn. But first, you have to do those mathematics for the physics, for the for the speed equation and speed velocity stuff. I gotta learn about something. So yeah. So I'm gonna tell you more about these physics. Um, because I have to get my tablet real quick. So don't wait. So anyway, I am back. Well, there's more stuff for the plyometric exercise categories. For the categories, like in general purpose, um, there's a lot of good stuff about this person. His name is Cody Pirlo. Yeah, Cody Pirlo. He's a great person, and he does the best track. Like his sprints is the best on the top. Um, the his YouTube channel is called An Athlete X. It's the best YouTube channel that I like. So with this plyometric exercise, there's a hops. So for the hops, that it said develop for the to develop with a basic jumping, yeah, with it to develop basic jumping, landing. I mean, develop basic about jumping, landing, and elastic qualities. Then for the jumps, that it said develop maximal maximal intensity for the single effort jumps with a vertical and horizontal or blended force vector. Um, for the depth jumps, to increase the amount of tension that you can load into muscles and tendons, to decrease ground contact times and increase the high velocity force outputs. For the bounds, with these bounds is the best way for the bounds that it said um, develop develop explosive power and it has it develop explosive power and the elasticity with a significant horizontal movement component. For the Athlete X jumps is to target sprint specific movement patterns and stances with a plyometric component.
Focus on landing mechanics as well as strengthening the foot, creating some active stiffness in the ankle, and making you more prepared for more intense jumping exercises to come later in the training year. Then there are what I call jumps. These are going to be box jump type activities where you're jumping off the ground, mainly going to be vertically oriented, although you can do horizontally oriented variations of these as well. These are going to train the ability to put out one intense expression of power.
That is insane jump right there. That is the best
jumps. These are where
idea.
You're going to jump off of an elevated surface, land on the ground with a very intense landing,
that he's going to talk about.
Use that to either train the ability to stick the landing or to transfer that into a jump up onto a box or out onto a box for a horizontally oriented depth jump. Then we have bounds. These are going to be focused on repeated single leg efforts. You can do them on double legs, but I think they're most effective in either an alternate leg or single leg bound type of exercise. These are going to develop elasticity around the hips, in the hamstrings, and improve the ability for the athlete to orient themselves in either a vertical or horizontal propulsive manner. Lastly, we have Athlete X jumps. These are exercises that I've come up with that I think are useful if you're a sprinter or an athlete who sprints in their sport. They're going to target sprint-specific movement characteristics with a plyometric component added in. If you're new to training or getting back into training after a break, then hops are what you're going to need to focus on. These are mainly used to teach jumping and landing.
So, so with the um with the category uh, for the category for the hops for the general purpose um that it's a develop basic jumping, landing, and elastic qualities with the variations with this plyometric exercises that has a double leg hops in place with a double leg hops forward or backwards or sideways with a single leg hops in place, single leg hops forward. Yeah, this is what I mean about the um the category of hops.
Mechanics, active joint stiffness in the lower leg, and to strengthen the foot for more intense activities such as depth jumps. You can use different variations such as single leg or double leg hops. You can do them in place. You can do them moving along the ground, forward, backward, or side to side. And then you can also add a vertical component such as in a stiff ankle hop where you're trying to jump as high as you can but without loading up into, say, a squat like you would in a counter movement jump or a box jump. You're just trying to use the elastic tissues of the lower leg, primarily the ankle and the knee, to hit the ground and bounce off of it. For most athletes, hops are going to be used as a preparatory activity so that eventually you can get into more intense activities. But for people who are new to training, this is going to be your bread and butter of what.
If you want to have body mastery, I can
Seriously?
help you transform your body and do press handstands, V-stands, and muscle-ups faster than 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. The reason I can say that so bold.
Activities, but for people who are new to training, this is going to be your bread and butter of what's teaching you how to land, how to absorb that force, and then put it back into the ground so you can jump or move in general in a way that is using the elastic tissues to your advantage. When the elastic tissues of the ankle, of the knee, of the hips are trained, you're going to use less effort to achieve the same type of force production. Because the elastic tissues are not having to work actively, meaning they're not using a bunch of energy, they're instead storing energy because of the type of tissue that it is. This can help make your speed endurance better. It can make you just more efficient overall as an athlete. So whatever type of athlete you are, hops are something you should incorporate in your program, especially if you're new to training, or if you're not new to training, you can still utilize them as warm-ups, as a culminating activity at the end of your session. There's really quite a number of different ways you can use hops to your advantage. Also, if you're recovering from injury, hopping exercises are a great way to reintroduce plyometrics without doing anything that is going to cause a high risk of injury or anything like that. The next category are jumps. These are going to be single effort, high intensity movements, primarily done from the ground up onto a box or jumping out into a sand pit. These are your typical box jumps, single leg box jumps, weighted box jumps, broad jumps, things like that. Jumps offer a good balance of low risk of injury but high power production, high intensity efforts. So once you've progressed out of hops and you're now looking for something more intense, jumps are a great way to achieve that intensification that you're looking for. I would primarily focus on vertically oriented jumps. Although horizontally oriented jumps are great, the landing mechanics of them are very intense on the ankle, the knee, adductors, and some other areas of the body. So you want to make sure that wherever you're landing is relatively soft, or that you're really skilled at absorbing that force upon landing. As you can see, there's many different variations. Pick them according to what you're looking for and what you're trying to gain out of them, and also consider what you're trying to progress to next. So if you're trying to progress to a double leg depth jump with a vertical emphasis, then you should probably start with a box jump on 2 legs with a vertical emphasis. If you're a sprinter and you're relatively advanced, maybe you're going to do single leg box jumps, and those will progress to single leg depth jumps eventually. Consider where you want to go and use that as a way to figure out what you need to do now in order to get there in a way that is safe and effective. Depth jumps are where things are going to get a little bit more interesting, much more intense, and the risk of injury is going to increase. But with anything, risk and reward tend to be tied together. Ultimately, the goal of a depth jump is to overload the Golgi tendon organs and the muscle spindles, which act as sort of an overprotective mother, which is limiting your ability to produce force. Golgi tendon organs will sense
Golgi
how much tension
tendon
is going through
organs.
the musculotendinous unit, and when it senses that there's too much tension, it'll shut everything off, you'll crumple and fall to the ground because the body doesn't want to get injured. That's why if you jumped off your roof, you probably wouldn't stick the landing. You would fall over. You might break your leg too, but if you don't, you're at least going to collapse. The reason you're collapsing is because the Golgi tendon organs are sensing we're hitting the ground with way too much intensity. We can't handle this. We need to shut everything off and try to protect ourselves so we don't snap a tendon right off the bone. Well, you can train this organ, you can train these sensory organs to not kick in so early, so that way your body is able to absorb more force, and whatever you absorb, you can then put back out into the ground, into the track, or whatever. The result of this is that you're going to be able to jump higher and sprint faster when these adaptations occur. These sensory organs are going to kick in much earlier than your ultimate threshold of force absorption. So by training depth jumps, or if you're really new to training, simply doing stiff ankle hops, these types of exercises and these types of stressors on the body are going to help overload these systems and retrain the brain, retrain those reflexes as well, to make sure that you're able to handle a little bit more than what you might had you not used these exercises. So this is really the beauty of a depth jump, is that it's going to raise your fundamental capability.
Wellness your wallet will love. That's what you get with affordable, high-quality vitamins and supplements from Puritan's Pride.
What's up, YouTube? This is Cody Bidlow with AthleteX coming at you with another video. Today we're going to be talking about strength training for sprinters and how you can make your sprint training pair up with your weightlifting in a much more effective and sport-specific manner. Most of the time when people think of lifting for sprint training or other explosive and speed power-based sports, they think of things like squats, deadlifts, power cleans, power snatches, and things like that. But if you think about the movement characteristics of sprinting versus the movement characteristics of a lift, such as a squat or a power clean or even a box jump, there's a very stark difference that I think we don't always consider. When we sprint, what are we doing? We're picking up the leg. As we know, practicing your sport in specific ways is the most direct path to improvement in your sport. Unfortunately, the amount of work we can perform each day, week, or training cycle is limited by our work capacity, recovery capacity, and schedule. Interestingly, there is a training method we can use which allows us to practice our technique, race plans, and prepare ourselves for competition without taking one step in an actual sprint. Through properly executed visualization, we can trick our brain into thinking we are training or competing, and there is scientific evidence which suggests that practicing visualization can increase your strength, endurance, reaction time, and more. Visualization, also known as mental imagery or mental rehearsal, is the process of using your mind to practice, rehearse, and literally create your best performances in your own head. In sports, visualization can be used to improve performance without physical effort by mentally rehearsing your sport-specific movements, competition strategies, and your competitive event. Research shows that visualization can be used to improve a wide range of physical and mental abilities, including strength, endurance, balance, coordination, reaction time, and confidence in athletes' own abilities. Visualization can also help athletes overcome injuries, mitigate pain, be resilient in the face of stressful situations, and to achieve their athletic goals. While some might write visualization off as some woo-woo esoteric nonsense, the fact is that the regular use and practice of visualization will make you better at your sport. Properly executed visualization activates the same neural pathways as actual physical practice, and this neural activation leads to changes in the brain that are similar to what we would see in response to typical forms of training and practicing. Research has found that using mental imagery can activate various parts of the brain, which play a role in how you learn, move, and perform. These areas of the brain include the primary motor cortex, the premotor cortex, the supplementary motor area, and the cerebellum. In a study by Morris, Spittle, and Perry, those who mentally rehearsed a specific task through visualization were able to improve their performance in the task to a similar level as those who who physically practiced the task without visualization. Basically, those who visualized were able to improve at the task without having to physically do it. Additionally, a meta-analysis which looked at the available studies on the effects of visualization on motor performance by Alchemede et al. Showed that visualization was an effective method of improving a wide range of physical skills, including strength, endurance, balance, coordination, and reaction time. This suggests that, outside of our physical practice, which we do on the track or the field, we can use visualization to get even more practice in, and this mental training can improve our performance beyond what can be achieved with physical practice alone. This is particularly important for sprinters, triple jumpers, javelin throwers, and other athletes who compete in highly technical, high-intensity events which are inherently limited in how much training volume an athlete can perform. Because we can only sprint, jump, or throw so much in a given period of time, visualization gives us the opportunity to further develop our abilities without adding more physical stress and strain to our bodies. It is believed that visualization can enhance performance by facilitating motor learning and skill acquisition, increasing motivation, reducing performance-related errors, and mitigating performance-related anxiety or stress. By regularly rehearsing the most perfect example of sprinting that we can imagine, we can train our brain to put us in that same place we will be when we go out and physically sprint. And as we do this over time, we can actually adapt to this visualization in a similar way with which we adapt to actual physical training. How you apply visualization and what techniques you use may vary depending on your sport. For sprinters, the goal is to create vivid mental images of our desired performance and to repeatedly rehearse this as often as we can. To visualize effectively, we want to bring in as much sensory stimuli as possible related to our athletic performance. This way, the visualization we perform can be perceived by the brain as being a real situation. Think about the sights, the sounds, the smells, and the kinesthetic feel of the environment and your body. What is the track going to look like? What is it going to feel like? All of these things matter. If you're using visualization to improve your block starts, put yourself in that situation mentally such that you can feel the ground, feel foot pressure on the blocks, feel the sequence of rising into the set position, reacting to the gun, and perfectly executing the subsequent steps. What does the air feel and smell like? How bouncy does the track feel? How explosive do you feel? All of these details matter in order to properly visualize. In addition to sensory stimuli, I think it's also wise to put yourself in the emotional state that relates to performing at your best. How would you feel before, during, and after you set a huge personal best? How great would you feel throughout this whole process? By mentally rehearsing both the physical and emotional aspects of you running faster than you ever have, you can turn this mental image of performing well into a reality. I believe that many athletes visualize without even knowing it, but oftentimes are doing it the wrong way. It's common for athletes who are anxious about some aspect of their performance to visualize themselves making mistakes, failing, or otherwise not being their best. Instead of rehearsing and attracting what you do not want, we need to use visualization to bring us the type of performance we do want. Focus on success, including the physical and emotional aspects of success, and you'll be more likely to attract that success when it comes to race day. Athletes can reap the benefits of visualization by doing it on a daily basis. This can be done before practice, during, as well as after. Visualization just before you fall asleep can be a powerful way to incorporate mental rehearsal, as sleep is where a lot of the training adaptations we have become solidified in our brain and body. Athletes can also visualize during their warm-up for a competition, as this can help prime the brain, the body, and the athlete's level of confidence without having to tire yourself out with too many warm-up sprints, jumps, etc. So as you go through your competition warm-up, and you're doing your sprints, you're doing your mobility, all that stuff, you can also set aside time maybe before your warm-up or in between your warm-up and the competition to visualize yourself performing at the highest level that you could possibly imagine. So that way when you go into your race, you're starting from a place of confidence, of high performance, and you set that as the tone in your brain and in your body. During a period of injury, athletes can use visualization to rehearse performing their sport pain-free, with full access to their optimal range of motion, and performing without fear of re-injury. If a movement hurts, visualize yourself doing it with perfect form, with no pain, and imagine how great that would feel to have overcome your injury. By visualizing this healthy state of your body and of your mind, you can attract that and put yourself one step closer to being injury-free and running at your best. From a coaching perspective, coaches can also help their athletes by giving them guidance on how to visualize, what to visualize, and how this practice of mental rehearsal can be tailored to the needs of each athlete. An athlete who fears hitting the wall at the end of a long race can be guided toward visualizing a strong and energetic finish. Athletes who struggle with their block starts can be instructed to imagine themselves flying out of the blocks effortlessly with perfect ground contacts and leading the race from the start. So if you want to get the most out of your training and perform at your best, You need to practice visualization on a regular basis. Over time, it will become easier to.
So yeah, that is what I mean, you guys. That is what it is about to improve this athletic performance to backed by science with a visualization for athletes. Like for instance, I am an athlete because yeah, since I am an athlete, um, so yeah, that is why I am an athlete. I do that stuff a lot. That is why I'm still working on the speed workouts for sprinting, for the sprinters. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to give you guys the heads up with the Wim Hof method or challenges stuff. I I just wanted to do my very first new title for live stream that I really want to do is called No Oxygen Push-Up Challenge for the Wim Hof. Yeah, for the Wim Hof push. Uh, for the Wim Hof push-ups challenge. This is a good one.
Okay, this is Michael Norman's start breakdown. He posted this on IG a couple days ago. He has a season opener coming up for the year.
Michael
So
Norman
see
start
what he does.
analysis.
Michael Norman's one of the top 400 sprinters in the world, definitely for USA, and he is one of the top sprinters, also the 100. So he's a pretty good judge of why speed is important, and all sprinting events, which just range from 1 to 400, you need speed. So all that talk about endurance work, overtraining, running cross country for endurance.
Ike, Ike Performance has about 191 subscribers. And that's good for Ike Performance. That's good. But that's not the right one. Huh, this is weird.
You can give a gift like
For the YouTube
a gift that can help St. Jude Children's Research
for the
Hospital
YouTube
save
channel
lives.
of the
I think
One
it's
Experience.
the most worthwhile place to put your money when it
The
comes to
One
childhood
Experience.
If you're feeling out of breath, slow down. You are probably going on too fast. There's probably something wrong with how you're tackling your workouts. If you've been running and exercising, and no matter what you do, you're constantly feeling out of breath, well, number one, you're not alone, and number two,
Nope, not that one. That's not the right one. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to burp.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to fix your lower back pain for good. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Dr. O here at Spine Care in St. Joseph, Michigan. So if you're looking for a quick and easy
All right, so we're going to talk real quick about a wall drill here. It's a great drill to work on frontside mechanics for an athlete. We know that most athletes are pretty weak in the hip flexor. It's a small muscle group. It's a group that's hard to target. So what we do is we take the athlete and put them in our running position, our acceleration position, up against a wall to allow for them to hold that position a little bit longer and do the drill. So Moose is going to get in here. He's going to lean up against the wall. We don't want him too low. We don't want him too high. We want a nice straight line, about 45 degrees. We want to make sure we maintain.
So 45 degrees how to do
Moose is going
that.
to do a walking drill with frontside mechanics. So pull the foot up. Notice that foot stays dorsiflexed the whole time. It's pushing back into the ground and landing on the ball of the foot, not the toe. Ball of the foot's where you get strength. So Moose is going to do that. He'll stop real quick. Notice a couple of things. His eyes are looking straight forward at the wall here. He's got a straight line through his body, and his eyes are 90 degrees to that body line. Okay, so he's looking right here. He's going to now do it a little bit faster. Go at speed. Perfect. All right, and when we do this, we have a chance to show our athlete where we want that impact into the ground. We don't want that impact to be way back here where the body collapses, and we don't want it to be too far in front where it forces us out of our acceleration drive position. Great drill to do. You can put athletes up on the wall. Strongly suggest you go one athlete at a time so you can focus on technique. It's really important to get this right. So a couple of common mistakes that we see when an athlete tucks the hips under and sits like that because they're not strong enough to get here, right? We see an athlete drop his chin, and you notice Moose immediately drop the hips there. So those are common mistakes. One of the other things we see is athletes trying to find the ground. So they're starting to point the toe and reach for the ground. We really want to make sure that that foot is dorsiflexed and creating a really nice position. What you'll notice when you watch from the side is when the foot is dorsiflexed, you'll see 90 degrees at the ankle on impact. And that means we've got a nice straight line through our body, 90 degrees, and we can pull up and hold the foot in that position. So focus on those three things as your athlete does the drill.
Okay, well that is 1 hour video. Jeez. Ah. So sprinting technique with a stride length. For the surprising strategy for improving your speed, which is my speed as a sprinter, with a stride length.
Hey, you want to order some Taco Bell?
That's good.
2 grilled chicken burritos, 2.
If you really want to know if your stride length is correct or not, look solely at that foot contact position in relation to the hip. All right, so one of the commonly asked questions is, how do I know if my stride length is correct? Is it too long? Is it too short? And a simple way to answer that is, as you watch your athlete, where is the foot contact in relation to the hip? That relationship dictates everything. If that foot is landing underneath the hip, and the hip is moving, obviously, as we're running, so it's moving past and enabling that foot to push, then we've got a great foot contact. If that stride length is getting too long, the foot starts to drift out in front of the hip, and now we get a braking mechanism where that foot has to buckle slightly, but we also get a much longer ground time. So now my hip has to pass the foot, before my foot can come off the ground. So if you really want to know if your stride length is correct or not, look solely at that foot contact position in relation to the hip and how long it's staying on the ground. Remember, we want the foot to be on the ground the least amount of time possible.
Now to my hips, we a to keep forward. This is gonna done. Maximum force to track, faster ground contact time.
So the drills we're looking at to improve that, we'd like to do wickets. And again, we'd like to make sure that the wickets start where they're not too far apart. We want that athlete pushing through that max velocity phase. All right, that's one of them. We like to work on our dry phase, our 2-point, 3-point block start phases. We want to build that phase. So an athlete at the beginning of fall training maybe only can drive for 15 yards before they get out of position. As the season progresses, we want to go a little bit further and a little bit further and teach the athlete to drive longer and longer. Ultimately, the longer the drive phase for an athlete, the shorter the deceleration phase. So if we go back to Usain Bolt breaking the world record, he didn't hit max velocity until 62 meters, which meant he only had 38 meters to decelerate, and at 6'6", obviously he didn't do much decelerating. So great ways to work on that are great technique. Great body positions, work on the head position, work on the chin, work on my chest, work on the relationship between the hip and ground contact.
Okay, I'm back. So, sprinting, motivation, confidence, and willpower. We try to learn that.
Sprinting is all about confidence. If you don't believe you're the best on the line, you might as well go home. You've lost the race already. Even if everybody is faster than you by a mile, you go in there with confidence, you might surprise yourself. Nobody is better than you until they beat you. And they have to beat you every time on that given day. So it doesn't matter how fast the person is. It doesn't matter what accolades they have. It doesn't matter what they've done. Nothing. Sprinting is about confidence.
What's up?
Done the work,
I'm trying to.
showed up. If you wasn't ready to run, you wouldn't be there. Go out there with confidence and do what you do.
Sprint training is all about.
Sprint training is about willpower. It's about bowing your head and doing that extra rep. When you're tired, you feel like you're out of gas, you're done and out. The willingness and just the sheer grit to be the best, to get up and say, you know what, I'm going to finish this workout no matter what. That's a sprinter's mentality. You know, go get it, get after it, because nobody else is going to do it for you. When you're on the line, it's you versus the world. So if you're not willing to have that will in practice, how are you going to have it when you compete? So
that's good. That's perfect. strike. Thanks. Of course. Sure, of course. Of course I will pray for your mom, for her back. Of course. I am free by newspapers. You're welcome, Chandler. Okay, of course, trying to get some good sleep until tomorrow. Well, good night, bud. I'll be with my that I cannot do that. No. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna. um, I have to let you guys go. Um, yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go because I have to get ready for tomorrow.